Hello developers, today I will show you how I use GitHub Copilot coding agent to add a new language to my application. And for this, instead of using like I did before VSCode to add using completion, using chat, using edit mode, using agent mode, doing that inside VSCode, I will ask GitHub Copilot to do that alone, on its own, inside github.com. So my application is a Next.js application. And as you can see, I already have JSON files for different languages, from English, Spanish, German, and the user can switch from one to another. So everything is working. I've done that before using different approaches. So now it's time to switch back to VS Code. And using the same prompt that I used previously, if you remember, this is a prompt that I use in agent mode to add a new language. So you have the state where we start, which file has to be modified, which logic I have to use if I want to add a language. The only thing that I've changed for this specific use case is I ask in my prompt, or I put in my prompt a GitHub issue template that will be used by GitHub if I ask GitHub to create an issue inside my project. Remember, to use a prompt, you just have to do / the name of the prompt, and if you wanted to code locally in VS Code, just do add Dutch to this application and it will work in the agent mode. But in my case, I want to do something different. I'm asking GitHub Copilot to create a new issue in the project, and also I want to assign this issue to GitHub Copilot directly. Like that, Copilot will start to work while I'm doing something else. So when I click Go, Copilot in VS Code is using the prompt, using the instructions to drive what has to be done. And when analyzing the prompt and planning the task, it's looking at the tools. And the tools available, one of them is creating an issue using GitHub MCP Server, assigning the issue using the MCP Server. So as you can see, GitHub MCP will create a new issue in the project and then assign the issue to GitHub Copilot. I should have auto-allowed the tool, but I like in demonstration to show all the steps. So now Copilot is ready, he has created the issue, give me a quick summary of the task. It's time to go to the issue and see what's happening or what has been done by GitHub Copilot. So now we don't need VS Code. Copilot is working on its own. The issue has been created, a pull request has been created. So you see it's assigned to GitHub Copilot. So if we look at the detail of the GitHub issues, it matches the template and all the information about Dutch language. And the pull request is open, so let's click on it. The pull request is using the issue as a prompt, and Copilot has already starting to work on it in a draft and work in progress state with a new branch. And we have all the steps that our Copilot agent will use. So based on what we put in our initial issue template, and what is nice is you can at any time while Copilot is working, click on the session, the Copilot coding agent sessions, to see what's happening. So we can see that, like any agent, first it's starting an environment. In this case, it's running in a GitHub Action environment, same environment as your CI/CD. MCP Server for Playwright on GitHub are installed and started, and Copilot will look and modify the source code. Let's go back to the pull request, and each time Copilot is updating an important step, it will update the pull request. For example, here giving us a plan. And each time you will have something modified, updating the plan. And at the end, when everything is done, it will verify based on the criteria that you have defined. But more importantly, it will put this pull request in a draft mode, but assigning this pull request to you to review it. As you can see, now I am the reviewer of this pull request. So let's review all the detail of the pull request. So what has been changed? Copilot coding agent took some screenshots to show me the menu and the content of the change, the verification that has been made, some stats, number of files, and so on. So what to do next? You just have to review the pull request itself. So let's go to the source code and look at the different files to see what has been changed and validate them. So in this case, I'm doing a very quick part because it's a code that I have already changed multiple times when I'm adding a new language. And since I want to be sure, I will do a quick test locally on my machine. I could have used code spaces, but I will just check out the pull request using the gh command on my local environment and run the development server. So running the server, going into the catalog page, switching to Dutch, looking into the detail of a specific products, looking at all the menu, very quick check. I should have automated that with Playwright. Going to sessions for a specific user, translation are good. So the last point that I want to do is just to run some Playwright test to validate that everything is working properly. This test has been executed also by the coding agent. Checking the report, everything is perfect. I just need to now approve this pull request. So let's put my comment. So it's looking good to me, approving the change made by GitHub Copilot agent. If I want to interact, I can always put another command into the pull request to ask Copilot or somebody else to modify the source code. So let's move it from draft to ready to review and do the merge. So now that it's done, we can check also that now that the pull request is closed, the issue should be closed also. It's done automatically, but let's check together. So I am done with this specific task that has been mostly, if not entirely, done by GitHub Copilot coding agent. In conclusion, you have seen how I use GitHub Copilot coding agent from a simple issue to work on a task to add a new feature. I created the issue with a prompt, then I assigned this issue to GitHub Copilot on github.com, and GitHub Copilot itself, so the coding agent, took the issue, look at the issue, create a branch, create the pull request, and start to work on the code. Working on the code is looking like when you are inside the agent mode on VSCode or JetBrains. It's understanding the task, understanding the code, and modifying and creating file as needed. Each time Copilot is doing that on the coding agent, it's updating the pull request, even committing code when it's needed. You will see that you have multiple commits per pull request. When it's done, it will assign the pull request to you. You just have to review the code and you are done. So do not hesitate to use the coding agent to add new feature like I did. Write documentation, implement a new idea, manage your technical debt. I will work on an example where I use GitHub Copilot to move from one library to another, moving from Google Maps API to OpenStreetMap API in a front-end application, letting Copilot to work on the task on its own. So happy coding and see you soon.